Hey everybody, welcome. Episode 4 of Bryce Koon here. Timeout featuring myself here with Genesis Leggett. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Well, Genesis, we want to welcome you coming on. We've had some awesome guests before, and we have another one here today. Here on Episode 4, we want to welcome you in and just talk a little bit about you. If people don't know you, you are on the track and field team. You participate here in your third year as a junior here.
Right.
But we're going to get to know a little more about you behind the scenes, where you grew up, where you found that love for the sport. And if you're watching this over on VikingFusion.com, we want to thank you for that. Check us out on all social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And give us a follow there, and so you can stay tuned for updates for our show and shows all across the platform as well. So as we get down to it, first question for you, where are you from?
I'm from a little town called Live Oak, Florida. Swanee, Florida. It's the real Swanee. I know there's like 3, one in Georgia, one in Tennessee, but mine's the real Swanee. We have the river, so.
And you talked about before the show, it's kind of the in between a Jacksonville.
It's like the
area.
direct center between Tallahassee and Jacksonville.
So what's the better city?
Tallahassee or Jacksonville?
Yeah.
I'd say Jacksonville's
Jacksonville's
because
better.
we got the beach and.
Yeah, you got more options.
Yeah.
But, so you talked beforehand, you were a multi-sport athlete growing up and everything. What sports did you play?
Give me a second because I forgot one earlier, remember?
No, you're good. You got
softball, track, obviously, basketball, weightlifting, and cross country, actually. Yeah, so that was 5.
Yeah, what was your favorite? Or what do you feel like you were the best at in high school?
At least I thought I was the best at basketball, but obviously, we see how that didn't work out. But I guess track, I was the best at track.
And so growing up, participating in all these sports, when did you realize, track is going to be the number one sport that I go with and go into college with? And when did that become an option for you?
So I never really thought that track would be my number one option until my senior year. When I was trying to figure out, am I going to play sports in college or am I just going to go get my education and get out? So I think I was actually planning on playing basketball and doing track in college for the colleges that I had picked and had talked to. But then I started talking to some coaches, track coaches, and they were saying you would be out here just for the outdoor season. You wouldn't be here for indoor season. So I'm like, what is indoor season? What do you do indoor? You throw indoors? And so as I started learning more about that, I was like, I don't want to play basketball. I want to throw all the time. Mm-hmm. So, it was just kind of my curiosity for indoor season, really. And I love it, so.
So which do you prefer, the indoor? I know y'all wrapped up the indoor season already here at Berry. Mm-hmm. You had a home meet just last weekend. Mm-hmm. Which do you prefer, though, indoor or outdoor?
So just kind of depends because you don't do the same things indoor and outdoor. Indoor you have indoor shot and outdoor shot. That's pretty much the only similarity. But indoor we have the weight throw, which is kind of like the hammer throw that we do outdoor, but shorter and heavier. And I actually went to nationals for that last year. But I'd say it really just depends on what I'm doing better in at the time.
At the time, whatever you're best at the time?
Yeah.
So you talked about, you kind of figured out this is what you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. What made Berry the option? Was it the only school? Was there multiple? Or what made Berry the option for you to come here?
So I had multiple options, especially for track. But I think what really, drew me to Berry was coming on campus and seeing, wow, this is so pretty. And then seeing, the throwing field. We had our own field dedicated to just throws and, brand new, big, beautiful cage and, green grass. And I'm like, this is for me. This is what, I want to have my own little section where people can just drive by and see me do what I do. So.
Yeah, Berry, arguably, we've had conversations when we work together with the sports information part. Berry arguably has some of the best facilities in Division III and also around the state for not only track. Obviously, with you being a junior, the stadium was still fairly new as well for all the events for track as well on that side of it. But for you, you come to Berry. What was the transition like from high school to college? That's I like to ask people that because in different sports it's different. But for you specifically, was there a major change for you?
I think the biggest change for me with track, in high school I didn't really have a throws coach, Mm-hmm. We kind of had just one head coach who kind of hopped around from each thing and he would see me throw one throw at practice and be like, cool, and then he didn't really know. So and basically like taught myself throwing from YouTube videos. So that was a big change, like actually having someone like there watching every single thing I do and critiquing was really helpful, and like actually one of the things I really love about it. I'd say another change would be just like having more thrower like people with me, like more thrower teammates, is a big thing, because I think it was just like me and one other person like in high school throwing all the time, and they weren't really that serious about it. And so like it's really fun having like teammates, like throwing teammates who are like just as serious about it as I am. So
you talked about the team and everything as well, and you all have been able to experience success, like talking about going to nationals last season.
Yeah.
What do you think has allowed you, you're in year 3 here, obviously a big year as you're, kind of in the beginning, starting to get into the groove of the outdoor season. What has allowed you personally to have the success that you've had?
I think, one, definitely having a coach, definitely having those teammates cheering me on at meets, having teammates that know what I need when I need it, like what type of cheering, what type of, if I'm having a bad day, like stay away from me, having people who know, and also I think being just in college, you have like workouts specific to like throw specific type things, and I think those have really helped me like kind of concentrate and like perfect my craft. So
I've talked with other guests as well, and they said one of the biggest transitions is high school. Like you said, it's kind of just a general workout plan in general.
Yeah.
And when you get into a college workout plan, whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, any level, it kind of more is specialized towards a specific thing that you're doing, whether it's football, baseball, track, cross country, any of those things. Workouts is more specialized for that sport. But talk a little bit about what else do you do on campus? I know you're involved in some organizations and everything. And what else do you do off the
throwing field?
Yeah, the throwing field. What do you do?
I'm a GATE scholar, so working a lot to pay for this tuition. I'm the president of BSA, the Black Student Association on campus. I'm a member of the Student Life Council. Yeah, I do. I have like 3 jobs. I'm working with the sports information department, the social media department, and I work at the library, which is kind of an odd little throw in there, but yeah.
It lets you do homework though. For people who don't know, it's a good job to let people get some homework done.
Yeah, I do get a lot of homework. I try to get homework done there, but I talk a lot, so yeah, I think that's pretty much all I do.
How would you say that as a student athlete you've been able to balance that, the work between school, and is there any advice that you would give other student athletes on that?
It's
work
hard.
and athletics?
No, it is very hard, and just looking at my schedule, I really don't even know how I get all of it done sometimes, but writing everything down helps me, and just having this like literally like written down schedule, like follow this step, this step, this step, that helps me with like anything, just because like I'm slow, so just so like following just like those things I do every day, keeping like a planner and like the calendar on my phone, so just to double check myself. But I'd say time management. Number 1, first and foremost, time management. Like you have to have that skill to survive.
Yeah, that's a thing for even non-student athletes, but especially for student athletes, having to balance the practice schedule, the workout schedule, plus your class schedule and work, and being the president of several organizations, being a part of different organizations for you. But that'll lead as we start to wrap up here. We're going to give you some easier questions here.
Okay.
So, question number 1: if you had to go to or stranded on an island, what are 3 things that you would bring with you?
Oh my gosh. 3 things that I would bring with me on an island. I would bring fire starter.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I watched Naked and Afraid, so they always bring the fire. They always bring the fire starter. I would bring a machete to cut down, the one tree that's there or something.
And defend yourself.
Exactly.
If you needed to.
And a pan or like a big pot to like boil water in.
That's honestly the best 3 answers that we've had in any of these shows. I'm pretty sure we asked one of your teammates, Jed Woodward, the same question.
Right.
And I think he said, we'll bring the bread. So
bread?
I have no idea. It was interesting. It got a laugh from Audie, who's behind the camera back there. It was pretty interesting. But it's question number 2. Everyone when they were younger wanted to be something when they grew up. What is the number one thing you wanted to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be president.
You want to be president of the United States?
Yeah.
Interesting. No, yes. So that's a good one. I know we've had some other people say mailman.
Yeah. Because I think, you remember those little like leapfrog like booklet things?
Oh, yes.
Where you would like press the little thing. Yeah, so I had one that was like, I think at the time we had like George Bush in office. And so it was like, who's going to be the 44th president? I was like, it's going to be me.
Not realizing that you had to be a certain age.
Yeah, you had to be like 50, right?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
So last question for you. We talked about this beforehand. We'll see how you can do that. What is the most embarrassing moment that you've had in your athletic career? Whether it's in front of everybody, whether it's just you by yourself, what's the most embarrassing moment?
So, you said, okay, so athletic career?
Yes.
So like any sport?
Any sport.
Oh, okay. Because if it was track, then you
Well, go stay with track. Stay with track. Make
okay.
it easy. Yeah. What's the most embarrassing moment?
Because I was going to say if it's basketball, it would be the time I broke my nose. And I was just like flailing, like, oh my God, I'm ugly now. Like, I broke my nose. Like, I wasn't worried, like, oh my gosh, like, my nose is broken. But, like, I was worried because, like, how do I look? Like, that's like.
In the middle of a game, too.
Yeah, in the middle of a game, I'm like, oh my God, I'm ugly. Like, stop the game. Like, I got to fix this. How do I even describe the throwing thing?
She showed me a video. I wish we could show this, and maybe we can have to post this on social media.
Yeah.
But essentially, you're throwing a weight.
Yeah, I'm throwing the weight.
You're throwing the weight,
which is, if you know what a hammer is like you have a handle and it's like a long metal string with like a shot put at the end of it. A weight is a bigger shot put. I think the girl's like 25 pounds, and then on a smaller string, like a kind of bigger handle. So this actually happened like maybe 2 weeks ago at our Swanee meet. So I'm going to throw the weight, and I mess up, and like instead of me being able to stop myself, the weight keeps going. Like the force of the weight keeps going, and I kind of just fly a little bit.
You came completely off the ground.
Yeah, I came off the ground. Yeah, I think it's because they didn't have like an actual like surface for us to like stand on and throw. Like usually you have like wood or like plywood or like concrete, but like theirs was just the same surface that they had like for the track, like the gritty kind of surface. I think that's what it was, but like, yeah, I just couldn't. I didn't know, should I let go? Like, should I, like, I was just scared.
You got caught in between, and before you knew it, you were on the ground.
Yeah, I was messed up.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for coming on today, getting to know you a little bit more. Genesis Leggett, everyone, make sure to come out. If you're around the Rome area, around the Barry area, come check them out, as I know they are very successful in what they do, and Genesis herself. She might be not as boastful about it, but she does very, very good at what she does.
Try to stay humble.
And so we thank her for coming on today. Once again, we thank you for tuning in. This has been episode 4 of Bryce Koon Timeout with Bryce Koon.